guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Married to Medicine. This is season 10, episode 10. So let's get into it. So not much on this episode happened, and I say this and watch this video be like 45 minutes. My God. When I tell y'all, I really do try to condense my thoughts, but I'm an overthinker and then I ramble, and I hate when I edit videos and I realize that I say the same thing. Sometimes it's irritating, but I'm working on it. But let's talk about this episode. So it opens up and we see Simone and Toya out for lunch. And one thing I do like about Married to Medicine, well, not one thing, there's multiple things about why I love this show, but I really commend the ladies for not touching their faces. And what I mean by that is this show has been on for 10 seasons. And if you look at the women facial wise, it doesn't seem like they've touched their faces. Like no one got a nose job. It doesn't seem like no one, got a facelift or altered their face in any kind of way. It seems like these women have actually aged pretty gracefully, because if you go back and watch earlier seasons, they look the same to me, just with different styles. Like what was okay and hot back in the early 2000s. Well, no, this came out in 2013. So in the 2010s to where we at now is not the same, but you can see the progression of their style, especially in their confessionals, and they really look good. Like Mariah still look good. Lisa Nicole Cloud still look good. Now we know Carrie touched her face, but to me, she got good work done and she looks pretty good. But the ladies on the show still look good to me. Now we know some of them have probably gotten lipo and BBLs. I'm looking at you, Quad, because you're not going to tell me that booty is real. But facial wise, they look amazing. They look amazing. And I commend them for not touching their faces, because I think that's extra hard when you've been on reality TV for that long, and we know people can be mean and hyper critical and tell you this is wrong, and to have the strength and the self-worth not to mess up your face. I commend them for that, and they look good. They do. So Simone and Toya go out to lunch, and pretty much Simone tells Toya, girl, Eugene been talking to Cecil, and Eugene don't want to do nothing for you because you're hypercritical. Basically, girl, you complain too much and he tired of listening to you and he don't want to do nothing for you no more. And it's weird to me that Toya is not getting the hint, because I'm like, girl, you're asking for what? So to me, what Toya is asking for is not a big deal. But I think the way in which she goes about asking for it is the reason why she's not getting her demands or what she wants met. Because I'll say it, I am a complainer. I am. My friends know, my family know. I tell you, I'm going to complain about it, but I'm going to do it. But I know that gets on their nerves. I know eventually I'm going to have to stop complaining and keep it to myself. I feel like Toya is not reading the room when it comes to Eugene, because even when he did the date for her last episode, I thought it was pretty decent. It's you and your husband. It's just y'all on a date by yourselves. You have a private chef, someone catering to you. The food look good. It's one-on-one time. But Toya was like, I feel like this is something you wanted, not me. And I'm like, well, have you specifically told him what you want? Because I think Toya is that type of girl that wants you to understand her and wants you to just know how to take care of her through osmosis, like my mama would say. The thoughts are not coming into my head. You need to explain to me specifically, what do you want? I feel like she should just say straight up, I would like you to take me dancing, or I would like to go, on a carriage ride by candlelight or something I think a dream date for me, because I love games and stuff, would be somebody shutting down a David Buster's or a Main Event where it's just me and the guy that I'm with, and we get good food, good drinks, and we're playing all the games together. That is something I would love to do with somebody. That would be one of the dream dates I would like to be on. And then I have ones that are more extravagant, but I feel as though Toya is not telling Eugene what she wants. And I also feel like Simone is being a good friend, because she's trying to tell you, girl, cut him some slack, because he's a good guy and he's trying to do what you ask him to do, but you're not really bending. And I think the problem that I have with Toya is she contradicts herself, because in one breath she talks about how, oh, for her birthday Eugene took her to South Carolina because that was on their bucket list. And they go to South Carolina, and I think they go on a historical ride, I guess, through the historical parts of the part of the city that they were in South Carolina. And she hated it because she don't like history. But before she even told this story, she said Eugene used to feed her intellect. Learning about history is feeding your intellect. But I guess she made up thought something was, I guess she wanted something different, because they then show us pictures of her and Eugene like in the Bahamas and in Dubai together. And I'm just like, things are different. Y'all have kids. He has a higher position in the hospital. I think he's like a director or something. That comes with a lot of responsibility, plus the money that you want. I just think like Toya is never satisfied. And I also feel like she's just a poor communicator, because I feel as though if she would just tell that man specifically, I want this, 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 and this, Eugene would probably do it. And like Simone said, you have to evolve with your relationship. And I think it's very stupid and very ignorant to think that the way your relationship starts is how it's going to be fed throughout the whole entire relationship. Like, people change, you grow, you're supposed to grow together. Like, things that shouldn't change in your relationship is the love and respect that you have for somebody. Like, it should either stay the same or grow, but it shouldn't diminish. But they change. I don't get what Toya wants from this man. So we then get this scene of Eugene, Toya, and the boys going to the dentist's office. And I guess the boys they're trying to straighten out the kids' teeth. And while they're there in their confessional, which Toya did look good in that confessional. That brown, Toya is pretty. She was talking about how like a lot of their issues was Toya got worried about what their life would look like once the boys would go to school. And I'm like, that's what Simone is talking about when it comes to evolving. Like, your kids are not going to be the focal point of your relationship for the rest of your, like, kids are only in your life, like in your household, past a certain age. But even if they're still living with you, they have their own friends, they have their own lives, they're trying to navigate things. So you and your husband or whoever you're with, y'all's relationship needs to be strong. And I just feel like it's because y'all aren't evolving, Toya. What you expect out of Eugene or what you want from him, you're not explaining it to him. And then a lot of people are now starting to say they can understand the cheating rumors because Toya not making herself look good. And I don't think Toya has cheated on Eugene, because I think she does love him. I just think they need to be in counseling because she don't know how to communicate her feelings effectively, in my opinion. All right. So before I talk about Sweet Tea and Gregory, I'm going to just say this. There is nothing wrong with a lady having fibroids or endometriosis, or you having to get an ovarianectomy, a hysterectomy. You're not less of a woman. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. Your body's just different, and that's okay. If we was all the same, the world would be, anyway, it kind of is now. But I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with you, because I've seen people who feel as though because people are giving their opinions about them not believing Sweet Tea, feel like people are like being, I don't know. I feel like some people feel like this is like a attack on them. And I don't think it's not that. It's not that. People are just giving you their opinion based off of a show that they're watching. And for me, what I will say is I feel as though two things either happen. Either Sweet Tea knew before she texted Gregory that baby emoji and the kissy face and the rose saying, I can give you what you need. Because you're not going to tell me at her age that if you are bleeding to that severity where you're going through 3 to 2 pads in like an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, and you need muscle relaxers for how severe your cramps are, that you did not think that there was something wrong down there. On top of that, she's been in the military, she's been in the military for a long time. So she has government insurance. And when they showed her, and I think her Air Force uniform, I think that was an Air Force uniform. Because wasn't it blue? Because Air Force is normally blue, and then Navy is also blue, but I think Navy is like darker blue. Either way, she was in the military, so she had government insurance, and they do a yearly physical where they make you go to the gynecologist. They do all this whole entire checkup to make sure you're okay. That like she didn't realize, that the doctors didn't tell her like something might be wrong down there. I know medical racism exists, but you're not gonna tell me she didn't know something was off. And I think what people are reacting to is, you can't sell yourself as a baby making machine to a man that you know, you've watched this show, that his main contention was his first wife was that she wouldn't give him a child, and not be like, I should probably make sure that something ain't wrong down there. So I either feel like, one, she either knew and she just really wanted to be with Gregory, or two, this is something that they already knew before they came to the show, and they're just reenacting it right now to us. And that is why people feel like it's disingenuous and that there's something fake going on. Because you can't tell me Gregory, who seems like a small misogynistic dick, because his whole commentary at the end where he was like, is that like this? I don't think a grown man should be drinking a fruity drink. Baby, the fruity drinks be the one with the most alcohol and taste the best. So what are you talking about? That he is taking this so well, where he's like, no, I just want to make sure you're okay. That I feel like he would, it's just, the way they're both acting makes me feel like they knew this before they came to the show, which is okay. It's just that y'all are not good actors, because what some of the viewers are seeing on our screen makes us feel like this is fake. Or that either she already knew what was up. Because he's very calm taking this information. And the way that he's kind of been acting, like, there's a tinge of, there's misogyny with Gregory. So I feel like something ain't right, okay? That's just what it is. Something isn't right here. But we see her meet up with Dr. Davis. Gregory goes with her to the actual appointment. They go in and they do an x-ray, and the doctor explains that her endometriosis is a chronic disease, which means it's a lifelong disease. And even if they take it out, they probably will come back unless she gets like an ovarianectomy. And she probably doesn't really want to do that, especially if she wants to have multiple children. But they explain to her, like, we could do surgery, but you are not going to be able to, be intimate with your partner for 6 months. And she's talking about she don't want to take the cat away from him for that long. Girl, first of all, if you're going to be sore, you ain't gonna want nobody bunny rabbiting on you. And if he can't wait out 6 months after you're getting recovery, then you should have never married someone that's inconsiderate towards your needs and your body. But the doctor also tells her it's still like a 50-50 chance that you probably won't be able to get pregnant, or you can get pregnant. So she's still kind of like feeling some type of way, but that's what it is. So then we get this scene with Dr. Heavenly at her dentist's office. Dr. Heavenly may be a gutter snipe, but I love how passionate she is about being a dentist and how well she is at it. We see her working on T.S. Madison, one of my favorite internet personalities. I've been watching that lady since Vine, okay? And T.S. Madison is a trans woman. Dr. Heavenly explains that T.S. stands for transsexual. And you know what? Watching T.S. Madison has taught me a lot of things about the trans community, as like I also have friends who are either married to trans men, or who are themselves in the process of figuring out if they want to transition or not. So I have a different experience, but ultimately I agree with what they said, like what Dr. Heavenly says. They just want to have their rights and be respected. And I feel as though someone else's representation of what they feel and deem as being a woman has nothing to do with me. Like, someone being trans does not make me question my womanhood, does not feel like they're encroaching on my womanhood. Like, I know what I am, just like they know what they are. So I wish there wasn't beef between the trans community, especially the Black trans community and Black women, because when you look at how trans women are being killed at a crazy rate, as well as Black women being killed, they're both being killed by their partners. And if there was a way that we could bridge the gap, we probably could all be protected. And I will always stand by a quote that I've always seen is we all will not be free until the one that is the most oppressed will be free. And to me, that means if the person that's the lowest on the totem pole, which is trans Black women, are still oppressed, then the cycle of oppression will still continue. So again, I feel as though everyone has a right to identify themselves as such, as well as to be represented the way they want to be and not have their rights taken away from them. As long as you're not hurting nobody, let people live. But it was nice to see T.S. Madison. One thing I do know, them titties, like Heavenly said, is they H's. I feel like she got G's or L's. I know her back be hurting. Next, let's talk about Dr. Simone and her family. So her and Cecil are ecstatic that the boys are out of the house. They can't wait until they graduate and live their own lives. They came over, they made jambalaya. It looked like they put a lot of salt in there because Michael, which was the youngest one, was just throwing seasoning in there. And I said, hypertension? Because that's what it's given, sir. But they made their parents jambalaya, and they talked about how they are living on their own. It is like a transition period. Simone came in there with a black light, more so for Michael, because it seemed like Michael be out here living fast and loose. But I was looking at Simone like, you need to check on Miles, because the ones y'all don't be thinking be living fast and loose be living the most fast and loose. Okay, they be on the low for a reason. But she was doing the black, like she was saying, condoms go in the trash or in the toilet with as much semen in it. Don't be out here because they really don't want to be grandparents. But I thought it was nice. It was a nice moment. I still think it's crazy that they living together because I could not live with my sister. I love my sister down. That is my ride or die. But we tried to live together during the summer in my apartment. And granted, it was a 1-bedroom apartment where we tried to live together. But we got on each other's nerves so badly that we both said, yeah, girl, if we gonna live together, it got to be in a house. It has to be in a house. But I'm glad for Miles and Michael. Hopefully they're about to graduate, or they're moving on into their careers or something like that. But good for them. We then get this scene with Jackie and Simone where it's going back and forth. They're both at their job. And what I will say is Simone's bedside manner is so good. Like, I think that's also the thing I like about Married to Medicine, where I think like they explain about like the heartbeat bill in Georgia, how like the moment they hear a heartbeat, you can't terminate the pregnancy. And it's not a real heartbeat, okay? But that's just me. Like Simone said, she pro-choice, and I am too. Like, it's my body. If I have every right to do what I got to do to protect me, especially when the Black female, like they talked about it, it's 75% of us is out here dying in childbirth because medical racism. So if I don't want to go through that, I don't got to go through that, okay? Especially when half of these men don't be sticking around. So she spoke to her patient, and I think it sucks that now they have to have this conversation of, well, have you talked to your husband about if something happens? Because I think the patient that she was seeing, I think her name was Rashida, she's like in her 40s. Like, I think she said she just turned like 42. And Simone was explaining to her that there is a higher chance for her to have, like, the baby to have chromosomal abnormalities because she is older. And they talked about, well, if that comes, or if there's something wrong with the baby, are you and your husband okay with, how are y'all gonna leave the state of Georgia to go, terminate the pregnancy? And the lady was like, oh yeah, we already had that conversation. I said, okay, good on you. Okay, talk about it. And she said her husband was very much like, if we got to, we got to. I said, thank you, because that's what you need. Then she also spoke to, she spoke about Ozempic and like several other drugs that I don't remember. But I still think it's crazy that people are using this diabetic drug, and those that have diabetes are struggling to get it. And we finding out that Ozempic is out here taking people out that shouldn't be taking the medicine. But I did laugh when Simone said, now, if I got fat, I probably would use it too. I said, well, at least she's honest. We then see Dr. Jackie. Pretty much, she is talking to another cancer patient that is a survivor, and the lady actually is the heaviest that she's ever been. I think they said she was 240. Now, a lot of people got that they don't see it for Jackie right about now, especially what happened with the whole video that came out during Christmas. And then a lot of people feel like Jackie is very fat phobic in her approach to medicine because she worries about BMI. And a lot of people have said BMI is not really based for Black people. Honestly, I think BMI was actually created by a mathematician. So it's not really based in health wise, but people were just like, it's so archaic to use BMI as a way to tell somebody about their health wise and things of that nature. And so a lot of people didn't like this scene. Okay. People just didn't like this scene. I was just kind of like, Jackie, especially when she was like, the scale that they have will tell you how old you are based off of like your body. And I was like, I don't think that's accurate. Because it said Jackie was like 26. And I said, yeah, because you are hella thin, Jackie. Like some would say a little too thin. But I'm not going to critique nobody's body like that. But the last scene of the episode was actually them filming a PSA about Black mortality rate. And I'm not going to lie, I chuckled with Heavenly. Because Heavenly was struggling. Heavily was struggling saying that we have the nation's highest maternal mortality rate. And I was with Heavenly when she was like, I'm doing this for free and you get what you get. She was trying. But her and Simone were the first ones to get there. Then Sweet Tea, Toya, and Alicia came in there later. And like Toya tried to sit down and Simone was like, no, get up. You were late. And Toya was like, no. And Simone was like, no, get up. You were late. And I was like, yeah, Simone probably got other stuff to do, Toya. She just not sitting at the house going to the tennis club and drinking wine. Okay. She probably has other things she wants to do, as well as even if she didn't have other things to do, she got there on time and you didn't. So move. And what did Toya do? She moved. Okay. She moved. I was also surprised that Simone brought up the YouTube channel, because here lately, I don't think Heavenly has been a mess on YouTube. She's been a disaster on YouTube, but not as bad as I think she was last year. Not as bad as she was last year. I think the PSA was nice. It said, except the last part, because it starts off saying the nation's highest maternal mortality rate, nearly 75% of deaths related to pregnancy occur among Black women. Race-related health disparities are among the highest streak and the most resistant to progress. Said it is time to create a movement and end this disparity. And then I think Phaedra was the end where she said, I hate Phaedra's eyelashes. She looked like she can't see. I hate these. You don't need to be wearing the 23s. I think it's the 20 or the 32s, because my sister wears big eyelashes. So I don't know the numbers that well, but she can't see. She said we are dying more and we should be doing more. That's the thing. A lot of people didn't like the end of we are dying more and we should be doing more. People felt like they were saying the onus was on Black women and I don't know. I got what people are saying. Like, we shouldn't be doing nothing. The medical field should be doing more. And because I've been seeing a lot of, especially on TikTok, there are a lot of accounts that are advocating for education for Black women and advocating for health centers that are merely geared towards Black women, that have a connection towards like hospitals and like OBGYNs, but are more like people centered. So I know we're out here doing the work, but the medical industry has to do more as well. So the last scene of the episode was the men going out to get drinks. So the men meet up to I think they were at like a cigar bar or something to like hang out and talk. And I don't like Dr. Alicia's husband. He irritates me. I feel like if I got into a conversation with him, by the end of the conversation, I would have to cuss him out or have to call him a dumbass. I'd be like, and you went to school, and what's not clicking up here, sir? So he's sitting with the men, and they're asking him how he's doing. He said something about, like, he's old school and he don't want to have to cut his nut sacks off, because he talks about Alicia being a dentist. Side note, do y'all notice that in the confessional, Alicia does not have on her white coat when she sits next to that man? I really do hope that she did not think, like, oh, well, I'm a wife then a doctor, so I don't need to wear my white coat. Because if she did that, I don't like you either, Alicia. Because I'm not going to go to school for that many years to sit by a man who is trying to tell me that you're a wife first. But he got on his doctor's coat because he knows what type of prestige and what that symbolizes. You got Heavenly and Damon sitting in they confessional white coated up. Okay. He is not threatened by Heavenly being a doctor. So I don't like neither one of these people. I don't like it. I don't like it. Because I'm like, why does she not have on her white coat? Like, where was her white coat in that confessional? But he's sitting at that table. He says something about, like, not wanting to cut his nut sacks off because people are different here. And I'm glad that Dr. Damon caught it and was like, what you trying to say? We got our nut sacks cut off? And so everyone at the table was looking at him like, yeah, what are you trying to say? And then he had to clean it up. But what he cleaned up didn't make sense. He tried to say, like, I think it's time for men to take back their power. But like Eugene said, we still have the power. Women are still getting paid, like, less than us, especially black women. They're still being disrespected and not respected in their own professions that they've worked hard in. So what are you talking about? He just sounds stupid. He sounds stupid. And it's just like, I don't get that. I don't get when women get with men who is emotionally beneath you. That's like, they have not caught up to us. Like, that makes no sense to me. And then the thing about it is, like, I have never been raised like that. I haven't. Like, the representation of marriage that I've seen has, for the most part, been very positive. Okay. I've seen men do what they have to do to make sure that their families are okay. I've seen men, like, follow and help their wives accomplish their dreams, and when they accomplish them, they're their biggest cheerleaders. I've also seen, outside of my family and in other people's lives, as well as those that don't support, but for the most part, I've seen those positive representations of marriage that when I see these, I be like, why marry them? Because Alicia doesn't make sense to me, other than maybe when she was growing up and seeing how hard her mom struggled, she didn't want to do that, because we find out that her mom was a single mother and was one of those ones that was like, you don't need a man and all of that stuff. And I get it. I get it. You want something different because you don't want to struggle. But I feel like there are probably better options than this man. Because it's really irritating me that she is sitting in the confessionals without her white coat. Where's the white coat, sis? And I just realized she hasn't been in her white coat. Like, why were you not doing your confessionals in your solo confessionals in your white coat? Like, did that man tell you not to wear it? Or did you in your mind be like, well, I'm a wife first and I decided not to? I'm getting worked up. Let me stop. Let me chill. Let me chill. That's that lady life. It's just like, that irritated me. Because I looked and I was like, she really, because I'm like, like I said, you see Damon and Heavenly, they're both white coated up. Wear your white coat, sis. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Drop down in them comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you heard. Subscribe. And as always, remember to be bravely authentic. Deuces.